OpenAI just cancelled a £1 billion project in the UK, but then immediately announced a large investment in London. So why the about turn, and what does this mean for the UK? So this week something pretty interesting happened. OpenAI have just announced a 90,000 square foot office to open in London, but this comes just days after they pulled the plug on the £1.9 billion UK data centre project, Stargate UK. So the obvious question here is, why invest in offices but not infrastructure? And more importantly, what does this mean for the UK as a player in the global AI market? Let's break this down. So here's what we know so far. OpenAI has announced that they've signed a lease for 88,500 square feet in Regent's Quarter, right in the heart of King's Cross, London. Right now they have around 200 staff in London, but no central office. This new space will give them room for over 500 employees, and that's a pretty major scaling signal. But what makes this even more interesting is the timing, because less than a week earlier, OpenAI paused its involvement in the Stargate UK data centre project, a data centre initiative in the UK's northeast, which would have been a huge infrastructure investment. So instead of placing a bet on UK compute, they're doubling down on their bet on UK people. And the location here is not random. King's Cross has quietly become one of the most important AI clusters in Europe. Within walking distance you've got Google DeepMind, Meta, Synthesia and Wayve. OpenAI would have chosen this location due to the network effect. Talent attracts talent, companies cluster together, ideas spread faster. There's also a major new development that's coming. Platform 37, Google's huge new campus nearby, is expected to open in late 2026 with space for 7,000 employees. So OpenAI isn't just opening an office, they're plugging directly into this existing AI ecosystem. And historically, this kind of clustering leads to more startups, more venture capital, and more innovation overall. So that's a really big win for London. Despite last week's news on the pause, this also fits into a broader pattern. Back in late 2025, OpenAI hired George Osborne. His role is to work with governments across more than 50 countries on AI infrastructure, digital literacy, and public sector deployment. It's actually a little bit similar to when Nick Clegg joined Meta years ago. The messaging here is clear. OpenAI is taking policy, regulation, and international expansion seriously, and this London office reinforces that. It's not just a tech decision, this is a global political one. So, why this move? A London office instead of a UK data centre? There's a few likely reasons. Firstly, talent. The UK, and London specifically, has one of the deepest AI talent pools in the world. Second, cost and flexibility. Data centres require massive upfront investment. Offices have a much lower capex commitment and are much faster to scale. And third, strategic positioning in Europe. For the UK, this is broadly good news. It strengthens London's position as an AI hub. In the short term, this likely leads to more hiring, and in the mid-term, more startups. Generally speaking, just more investment globally into London and the UK. This reinforces that the UK is a talent hub, even if it's not yet a compute hub, because that's the key limitation here. Despite this announcement, there's still no strong signal that the UK will become a major AI infrastructure centre. In fact, last week's news indicates the opposite. It indicates the UK energy costs and planning regulation work against us. We're not seeing any hyperscale build out of compute. We're not seeing any massive GPU clusters. Nvidia promised tens of thousands, but this may have been part of the Stargate UK announcement. That lack of compute matters because long-term AI power depends heavily on compute. Also, it's better for the UK to have fingers in more AI pies than fewer, spreading our bets for the long term and mopping up investment in the short term. So in summary, OpenAI's London move is significant, but in a very specific way. It's about people, not about machines. It's about talent, not about compute. It's about influence, but not about infrastructure. And the big question going forward is, can the UK turn this talent advantage into something deeper and more durable? Or will it just remain a satellite in the AI global ecosystem? If you found this video helpful, please do like and subscribe. I'm looking to try and put out more bite-sized news stories to keep you up to date. And in the meantime, here's one last thought. With AI, we don't yet know how important it's going to be to own the compute. We've seen from Starlink in Ukraine exactly how important it is to have control over the technologies we use every day. Leading the research is a big step in the right direction, but there's significant work to do for the UK to both ensure it becomes and remains a global player in AI for the long term.